In a field dominated by men, Sandra Brown is one of the few female mystery writers who's been wildly successful with 64 New York Times bestsellers and over 80 million copies in print. Her latest novel is called Mean Streak. Sandra Brown is here now to tell us all about it. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you, Meryl.
It's great to see you. Okay, so tell us the storyline for your latest novel. This sounds like it's going to be fascinating.
Well, I'd like to think so. I just had this vision one night while I was actually working on another book, but I got this scenario in my mind and it just wouldn't let go. It was about this marathon runner who was training on a mountain trail and suffers some mishap. I didn't know what at the time, and she wakes up in a remote cabin alone with this very mysterious, secretive man. And I thought, oh, who are these people? What's going on here? How did they get in this situation? And I started asking all these questions of myself, and I couldn't wait to find out the answers to the questions. So I figured reader would feel the same way. They would want to know what is going on exactly. And so that's where the story for Mean Streak came from.
So you tackle the question, does the end justify the means? And you kind of turn it on its head. Tell us about that.
Yeah, the kind of thematic through this novel is bullying, and in all of its forms. You know, we hear about the really overt kinds of bullying, and we know that sometimes the consequences of it are really catastrophic, tragic. And I thought I would kind of approach that problem, but also delve into the more subtle forms of bullying and kind of explore all the different kinds, because sometimes it's very subtle. You know, we don't realize we're being bullied until we take a step back and go, wait a minute, I don't have to take that. And I think that it's a subject that needed to be addressed, and so that's kind of at the background of the book. But of course the main story of Mean Streak is the adventure that I placed my heroine in really terrible circumstances, and she has to outsmart everybody to get out of those circumstances.
And I think that's one of the things that people like so much about your books is that they always seem to feature a smart, strong woman in a difficult situation, and you're really rooting for her as she's trying to get out of that situation.
Yeah, she's a pediatrician, so she's a very clever woman to start with, and she's strong physically because she runs marathons all the time. But the situation in which I place her is totally out of her area of expertise, and so she has to really be on her toes all the time. And then my hero, as I said, is kind of this, you know, tall, dark, handsome, and very mysterious man, and we don't know, is he a friend or is he a foe? And so I put them together, and the chemistry was electric right from the beginning. So it was a fun book to write.
I bet it was. When you're writing a book like this, once you get the main story and you figure out how it's going to end, do you backtrack from there, or does it develop along the way?
It's a combination. Actually, sometimes I have the whole story kind of laid out. I know where I'm going, but I don't know exactly how I'm going to get there. And that's kind of the fun of being a fiction writer, is that I go to work every day and wait to see what's going to happen. So sometimes the best plot twist, the most jolting surprises are things that I didn't see coming. They would just happen. I would put the characters in place, and then this happens, and I'm going, wow, that's so good. It's so much better than what I thought of.
Well, and that's what your readers find, too.
It's kind of a combination.
Yeah, definitely. I know this is going to be a great book that a lot of folks are going to love. I've always enjoyed your work. Sandra, thanks so much for talking to us today.
Thank you.
Well, the book is called Mean Streak. You can find out more at sandrabrown.com.